All right. Let go of what you don't agree with. Woohoo! Tell us more.
Well, this is about learning how to take your eye off of what you think you need to keep your eye on.
Okay.
Okay, so let's have a look at a situation, and again, let's step in with a mother as a housekeeper. In other words, she's the one that's looking after the home, um, and everybody is leaving things lying around.
Right.
Right, so she's constantly picking up.
Yep.
Right now, her eye is fixated on nobody respects her. They just leave stuff lying around, and she's there to have to pick it up all the time, and becomes resentful about that to the point where she's normally screaming, "Pick up your stuff! Pick up your stuff! Pick up your stuff!"
Yep.
Right, and people are saying, "Hey, mom, just calm down." Okay, mom's saying, I'm not going to calm down because it's constant. I come through in the morning and there it is. But you guys keep doing it. But now this is a no-win situation. In other words, your eye is fixated on what's wrong.
Yes.
But it's not focused on solution.
Exactly. And that idea of neurological addiction, focused on the negative. Absolutely.
So negative stimuli, which is things that tend to rear up inside you and make you feel negative, whether it's frustrated, cross, angry, resentful, whatever it is, blaming, hate, it doesn't matter. Again, negative emotions. So have you noticed, Linda, that with everything we're speaking about, we use the negative emotion as an indicator of where we're going wrong?
Yes.
Okay, because it's a clear indicator. In other words, I bring it up. So now this is creating self-awareness. I bring it up to show everyone, here's the negative emotion. And so if there's a negative emotion attached, it means that's where we need to be looking for solution. Right. So negative stimuli in the case of everyone leaving everything lying around, the approach has to change. And so, number one, step outside of the problem and you say, well, what would my preference be? My preference would be that everyone cleans up after themselves. That would be a clear and precise preference in this case.
Right.
Because that would solve the entire problem. Only thing now is to get willing participants. All right? So next part of that solving that problem is, how do I invite these people? I'm using a different word, invite these people into cooperating with me. Yeah. Before I was trying to tell them, look at what you're doing. All right? It's affecting me negatively.
Yeah.
I'm venting it on you. So that's the way they were looking at it.
Yeah.
That's the way she was looking at it. But now, an invitation process. And an invitation process can be very different. I'm going to give you the example with one that I've used myself with my daughter. Her room was in a state all the time. That was chaos. They had this tendency of, let's see how many times I can get dressed in a day, and then just shove the clothes back into the cupboard, And then after about a week of that, it's like, I have no clothes, right? So there's all these problems. And so what I was doing was I sat down with my daughter and I said, do you know that if you have a clean and orderly room, that you'll have peace of mind, you'll feel good. Imagine how nice it would be to walk to the cupboard and all your clothes are there ready for you to select exactly what it is that you want.
Yeah.
And you can put those on and you can feel that peace instead of rummaging through a whole lot of different stuff. Yeah, and here's the cherry on top, is you can actually design that room in the way that it reflects your personality.
Nice. So
what kind of pictures do you want up on the wall? How do you want everything laid out that suits you? Right? And so, she was sitting there and she was thinking, I'll try this. That's an invitation process. And about 4 hours later, she comes through and she says, come and have a look at my room. And she's
Wow.
proud about it. She says, and I didn't force her into this. I didn't even tell her to do it.
Sure.
I just made a suggestion.
Yeah.
And the room's been rearranged, and she's telling me about what kind of picture she's going to get to go on the wall over here. And when the mom came home, she said, "Hey, Mom, have a look. This is what I'm doing." And the mom kind of looked at me and said, "How did you do that?"
Right?
Here's the
It was
thing.
an invitation to freedom. That's the
It's an
best part.
invitation process. It's an invitation. It makes things different.
Yeah, you
It,
flipped it
it
into
just
freedom
means
though. I
that
love that part, Paul. I was
yeah,
like,
the other person feels like they're being considered, they're not being yelled at.
right. You were pointing out the freedom that she was going to get without telling her she was going to get, you weren't lecturing it. It was just an invitation that was going to give her more freedom because she
That's right. But
didn't have
here's the thing. Once she experienced the freedom, in other words, once she actually realized that was the truth, I didn't have to force it on her. She decided, I'm going to do this more often.
love it.
So, problem solved. Again, it's looking at the negative stimuli in a different way. It's looking at how do you get to the preference that you want? How do you invite someone into that process? What are you going to do in terms of choices that are going to make that possible? And so there's a little bit of work that needs to go into it. The next part of the section is, and this is one that a lot of people suffer unnecessarily, is energy vampires. People who come and visit, and by the time they've left, you kind of like, I have no energy. I'm like done.
Super drained.
Don't even talk to me. I really feel like I've had the life sucked out of me.
Right?
Why? The big question is why?
Yeah.
No, because they came round and I had to listen, so I made as many cups of coffee that was necessary and it facilitated it, kept it going. And of course, when they left, I just felt like, oh, I got no more energy left. There's something wrong with that picture. If you're having people coming around and you feel like you can't move a muscle afterwards, there's something wrong.
Right.
And so sometimes people don't make necessary choices.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a repeated occurrence, you need to make an informed choice for yourself. And the informed choice is, does this add value to my life or does it take away from me?
Right.
If it's something that's repeatedly taking away from you, you're the one that has to make the informed choice to say, I need to do something different. It's not about the other person. It's about what choice do I make that offers me that freedom. Here's a couple of ways you can go about it. There are going to be a couple of boundaries, and one of the boundaries is with this specific friend, I'm not going to meet at the house anymore. I'm going to encourage meeting for shorter spaces of time over coffee, and we can sit and we can engage. In other words, I've lessened that amount of energy draining down to shorter span.
Right. You're not going in the same car either, right, Paul?
That's right. Doing something totally different. I'll meet you there. We can meet at 10 o'clock. I've got to be out of there by 10:45. Yep. And there you go. More control. And see whether you can, if you wanted to keep that friendship, see whether you could encourage different conversations within that different environment. But you're not trapped. No longer trapped in that situation where, okay, I've got to go through 3 hours of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And so, this is where, as individuals, we learn boundaries.
Right.
And there's for me, there's a key principle, and the key principle is this: does this add value to me, or does it take away?
Yeah, exactly.
If it's something that takes away, it's something I need to give my attention to and make a different choice about.
I love it.
You can't leave it, because if you don't leave it, you're going to suffer it for as long as it's there.
Yeah.
So again, we're coming back to key choices. And this leads to the third part, and this is where a lot of people fail just because of how they feel about themselves, which is unworthy thoughts.
Yeah, right?
Okay, I don't really have the right to say what I say. Hello? As an individual, you have the right to say anything that you want to say.
Yeah.
Because you personally feel that way. And so if you personally feel that way with dignity and respect, you can make yourself known and understood through the choices that you make, how you teach people to treat you, what you allow, what you don't allow.
Right.
But feeling self-worth is of utmost importance, because the first part of anything in life is how you feel about self. You have to feel okay about yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be able to change what we were talking about earlier, those word thoughts that are going through your mind in terms of, I may have led a difficult life, but I'm ready to change things. I'm ready to embrace life. I'm ready to grow more. I'm ready to reach for things that I know are going to make me very happy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you can't do this one unless you've done the I don't care what other people think one. Right? You get to get over that hoop, lump in the road, bump in the road, whatever, to be able to do this piece you're talking about.
Well, I think what's really nice about the interview that you've been doing here is that it gives the person the opportunity to see how multifaceted the direction of your life, making informed choice about it, needs to be.
Right.
And because a lot of times a person will say to you, well, just come up with something different. If you haven't changed all those things that are causing you to make the choices you make, then you're going to keep making the choices you make.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a process of elimination, and it's looking at life from an all-inclusive point of view, which means that you have to kind of segment it. Here's work, here's home, here's my relationship, here's my children, here's my creative interests, here's my list of problems, and so on. Because once you've segmented it, you can look at each one isolated from each other.
Yeah.
Have a look at negative emotions attached to the thought streams within that. Start identifying them and start modifying them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a process.
It is.
You're not gonna get there all at once. I always say to people, and this is a truth, it's impossible to jump from fear to joy. You cannot make that leap. It's a quantum leap, and it's very large. So if you're going to try and make that leap, you're going to kind of fall down the middle.
Yeah.
Because you can't reach it. But you can process your way across. And as you process your way across, make this change. You don't want to have unworthy thoughts. You want to have thoughts that are going to lift you up and inspire you to do more within yourself. So you want to feel that positivity within yourself.
Love it. That's so cool. Thank you so much, Paul.
It's my pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.